Hello, it's Emma with your Tarot and Oracle reading of the day. As always, if this found you, please trust that there's a message in here for you, and if it doesn't resonate, you can just leave it behind. Okay, so I've pulled some cards from the Literary Witches Oracle deck this morning. I've spent a couple of hours kind of digesting the messages that wanted to come through. I have it all written for you. But I'm speaking to somebody who has spent much of their life searching for home, who has spent much of their life searching for a sense of belonging, okay? And this is somebody who has shown a lot of endurance in that they have experienced the opposite of what it is that they seek: a place to belong, a place to relax, a place of peace, a place of home. This is somebody that comes from a background of domestic horror, okay? Somebody who's had a very difficult family life. It may not just be family, it may be friendships, it may be relationships, okay? But this is somebody who has experienced quite a lot of devastation within those areas. The first card I got was this family card, Shirley Jackson. And what I really noticed about this card was the cup that spilled over. So what this tells me, when I think of tarot, the cups are emotional fulfillment, and I'm getting the Five of Cups in my head. The Five of Cups shows a gentleman shrouded in black, shrouded in darkness, and he looks at his three cups in front of him that have been knocked over, okay? And he's very disappointed, he's very hurt, because he was invested in those cups, okay? In what was in those cups. And you're somebody who has seen your emotional fulfillment taken away, destroyed several times, okay? We have this teacup here as well. That was just extra confirmation for this card, for the message I was getting about the cup. We also got the Anna Akhmatova card, which is endurance, okay? And when I look at this, I'm immediately drawn to this bird above her. It's orange, I believe it's a phoenix. It looks like a phoenix to me. But also this lady is holding a feather and an egg, okay? So feathers, may be very significant to you. I know they are for me. Birds are often messengers of the spiritual realm. When you ascend to a higher vibration, when you are vibrating at a higher frequency, you will find that these things will crop up in your reality, and they are messengers from spirit, okay? So it's not just angel numbers, it's not just synchronicity. The earth and the animals and nature, has a way of showing up for you as spirit guides, okay? With this Anna Akhmatova card, this endurance card, with the egg in her hand, this is somebody who is birthing something new. You're birthing something new from the ashes of this domestic horror that you have experienced, okay? You're wanting to move away from a cycle of disappointment that you have been in. And this endurance card as well, what I really noticed about this was these two people beneath her who seem to be deceased, okay? And with this card for confirmation, I got the Skull card. So this Skull card speaks of a transition. It speaks of death. It speaks of rebirth, okay? Leaving behind that which does not serve you, giving up the ghost. Giving up the ghost, okay? This person acknowledges what it is they come from. They acknowledge their losses. And in fact, they rise above their losses, okay? And this is what you're doing at this time. You're rising above the past. You're letting go of that which has haunted you, okay? This ghost card really gives me the idea that you are someone who has been haunted by these past emotional spillages, when you'd really invested your emotions into something and somebody just knocks the cup over. I feel like this is the energy that we're coming from, okay? And we have endured this. We've endured this and borne it like no other. We are the phoenix. We are rising from the ashes, okay? I love this. I got the Justice card, which is Audre Lorde. Okay, and the first thing that really stuck out to me about this, I've been having a channel about the Sword of Truth for weeks now, and this Sword of Truth is really, really prominent to those who are awakening to their own self, to their own truth, okay? And actually, instead of putting the sword aside, they're choosing to pick the sword up and wield it for the good of humanity in order to raise the collective consciousness, okay? You have picked up this Sword of Truth now. You have endured all that you have endured. You've seen much death. You've seen much challenge. You've seen you know, probably many rebirths in your time, since you are represented by the phoenix, okay? And you have a lot of ghosts and ghouls within your past. And I feel that your justice is that you are moving on from this now, okay? Let's see what else I've written. Yeah, your justice is your truth, okay? So this is somebody who may have had a very difficult time speaking their truth when they were younger. You know, perhaps you weren't very supported by your family. It's giving me black sheep vibes. It's giving me that there was kind of always a distance and a gap between you and your relationships. Probably because, you know, you are anointed. You have this card here, this justice card, this woman in the water. This gives me high priestess. This gives me somebody who is very connected to that intuition. Obviously, water is representative of emotion, and intuition is very heavily tied to the emotional world and not the logical world. So I believe that you're somebody who's kind of made a home within this water, okay? And this water is where you get your truth from, this intuition, this spiritual truth that you have access to. And you are now wielding this truth, okay? And you're wielding it to change your life, and it's going to change your life. We have Janet Frame, belonging. And this is what I mean. This is somebody who has never really felt like they belonged. Their relationships were kind of marked with strife and difficulty, and a lack of fulfillment and disappointment, okay? Disappointment's a really big one here. I feel like you're somebody who has been very disappointed within your relationships, okay? Family, friends, romantic, whatever, however it resonates. But with this belonging card, okay, this is telling me that you... oh, she's so happy. Look at her. You have found a home within yourself. We got that snail card as well. You know, I feel this has been somewhat of an outward search thus far. And you have realized that it is not an outward search. The peace that you are looking for, that sense of belonging, is an internal thing. And you've come, this is a homecoming to self, okay? You know, this snail, wherever he goes, his home is on his back, his home is with him. And this is you right now, you know, you can access this space of peace, of love and joy, of belonging, because it was always within. It was always a piece of yourself that was fractured, that was waiting to be reintegrated for you to have this sense of being at home wherever you are, because you know thyself. That might be a significant quote there for you. Yeah, so this card as well, and I did a reading yesterday for myself, and the card humanitarian came up, and that was quite significant to me. It really stood out. So, you know, this is a humanitarian card as well. This is somebody who not only fights for their own beliefs and their own values, but they fight on behalf of others. You see the way she cradles this creature in her hands. You know, and for others, they might disdain this creature, you know, this unknown creature, because of this fear of the unknown. This woman, however, does not. She cradles this creature. She accepts this creature, and she fights for justice, for herself and for whatever this creature is referring to, okay? You know, it really, I think it's giving humanity at large. There is also a theme of patience here, okay? A really strong theme of patience, and, you know, with the endurance card that's come up here and the snail card. I believe that this has been a long and difficult journey. You've kind of plodded along. Perhaps the destination was not quite clear to you when you began this journey, when you began this internal work, okay? But this was always leading you home to self. It was always leading to a spiritual homecoming, to a remembrance of unity, of oneness with source, and an ascension, okay? Because once you realize that, you do ascend. You kind of, it's so weird. It's like you're zoomed in on the matrix, and then all of a sudden you're zoomed all the way out, and you can see things so clearly, and you question, you know, how you didn't see it before. And there may be a sense of frustration here with that, though, in that your new perspective, I'm getting the hangman card, the hangman card in my head. Your new perspective kind of puts you at odds with other people. You know, you're upside down, you're seeing the world from an upside down perspective where everybody else is kind of straight up within the matrix. So that may be difficult for you to see, particularly as somebody who has longed for family and belonging, watching those around you, those who you have loved and those who you do love, you know, being trapped within kind of mental prisons, mental cages. That can also, you know, once you've had this ascension, be something that's really difficult to deal with. I'm getting a strong sense of this at the minute. So this might be something that you're currently experiencing, feeling like you are outside of the cage, shaking the bars, and people don't even realize that they are in a cage. Okay. Okay, well, I'm going to get some tarot cards for extra confirmation. Please do bear with me. It's been a rough week. It's been a very, very deeply reflective week for me. And I've just needed a break from it, to be honest. So, you know, I'm back, and it's going to take me a few days to get back into the swing of the readings, letting the energy flow again. But we're here and we move, and, you know, we're gonna keep showing up for it. Okay, extra confirmation. Who am I talking to, please? Who is this person who has found the home within self? This person who comes from a background of domestic horror, of difficulties within relationships. Who is this Phoenix rising? Woo! Oh, amazing. Right on the top, see how far you have come. Okay, this is a huge transition. This is a completely different way of being for you. I believe that, once again, this idea of polarities is coming up, of yin and yang. You're somebody who's experienced so much darkness, and you're about to experience an equal amount of light. Okay, things are regaining balance for you within this situation. There may be things that you still kind of are, I wouldn't say hung up upon or kind of grasping to from the past, but there may be things that are still slightly within your subconscious, you know, regarding this change that you've been through, and the people that you've had to leave behind, these ghosts of the past. Okay, heartbreak. Yeah, this is exactly what I'm talking about. You're somebody who has been through a very difficult time within your relationships. You've had your heart broken several times by many different people. And I this is a strong family reading. Okay, I don't think this is so much romantic relationships, although it could be, but I feel this is kind of being the black sheep of the family, your family members not understanding you. Okay, and this kind of making you feel like you didn't belong. And you were searching for that sense of belonging externally, and you kept being disappointed in your search. Okay, we have 10-10. Amazing. This is the end of a cycle. 10 is completion. Okay, and it's double 10, so it's extra prominent. You know, you've completed this cycle. You are walking away excuse me, from this lack of emotional fulfillment. Okay, and you're walking into a greater sense of belonging. Now, what's really kind of standing out to me about this card is these kind of fairy pixies around her. I believe this is somebody who has a very strong connection with nature. The fairies for me are childlike play. They are very much related to the inner child. Okay, you're healing your inner child. You're healing the abandonment wounds which you carried forward from these really difficult, disappointing past experiences in your relationships. Okay, and because you're healing this, you're healing this abandonment wound, and you're really kind of diving into the depths of self. You're realizing that actually you are your home. You have always been your home. You know, you don't, there is nothing that you need externally aside from, you know, the essentials to live, aside from what your body needs. But there is nothing that you have to seek when it comes to your emotions from other people. Okay, you know, you are the king, the queen of your emotions. This idea of a king has also been coming up in a lot of readings I've been doing for myself. Somebody who is spiritually selected as a leader. And it does give me that with this Justice card, this Audre Lorde Justice card. Somebody who is ready to wield that sword of truth, to lead people from the darkness into the light. Okay, so I'm speaking to somebody who is a spiritual leader, somebody who is highly ranked within the spiritual realm because of all the work that they have done, okay? You have done all the work. Look back and see how far you've come. See how you have changed. See how your mindset is 180 from how it used to be, okay? And have some pride in yourself and celebrate yourself for this, because this is not an easy journey that you have undertaken. Put yourself first. Yes, this is what you've done. This is exactly what you've done. You have had a wake-up call, and you've realized that you were, as I say, putting all your energy towards other people externally, and you were only receiving disappointment in this. And this is because you hadn't fostered a connection with yourself. You didn't know yourself. You didn't truly respect what it is that you were, what it is that you stood for, because you have been ostracized in your family, because you had been made to feel like a black sheep. You internalized that, okay? You, I can't think of the word. No idea. Anyway, no. I've remembered. So you internalized that and you identified with it, okay? And it became your identity. This idea of not belonging, that became who you were. And once you turned inwards and you stopped allowing your external circumstances to dictate your emotional world, to dictate your sense of self, your sense of self-knowing, that's when everything changed for you, okay? You put yourself first, you turned inwards, and you found a home within the self, a home that comes with you everywhere you go, okay? 1717. Seven's a look for me. One is alignment. So you are in alignment. You are in alignment with a very abundant timeline. 17 as well. 1 and 7 is an 8, and an 8 is abundance. Okay, so this is a brand new timeline that you are stepping into, and it's a timeline that aligns with a lot of blessings coming in for you. Okay, a lot of stability. I'm getting financial stability. So a lot of people do not realize that money is directly related to feminine energy, okay? Money is related to your sense of worth. It's a mirror. Money is a mirror of your sense of worth, your sense of richness, internal richness. You know, if you are abundant inside, it's not long before you're abundant outside, okay? Just as I'm saying about the abundance that's coming your way, be open to receive it, okay? Feminine energy, receiving, opening the heart space, being able to hold this wealth that is coming your way. This is very important. You may have wished for things to be different, but if you had been granted this wealth, this stability, any sooner than now, you wouldn't have been able to hold it, okay? You wouldn't have been able to receive it because your internal world was still reflecting a mentality of lack, okay? And we've left behind this lack mentality now, and we're stepping into our authenticity. We are wielding this sword of truth, okay? Our truth, what we know to be true, what we know to be right through our intuition. This is not logical, okay? Logic is not serving you currently. Yes, it may, you know, in your 3D realm, whatever, when you're working, blah, blah, blah. But when it comes to your spiritual path, when it comes to where to go from here on out, you are being led by your intuition, okay? Logic is not serving anymore. This wounded masculine energy of trying to control, of trying to assert, we're leaving this behind, okay? And we are finding comfort within our own energy, within the self, within our authenticity, and it's leading to abundance. No way! What the frick? Yeah, it's leading to abundance. I mean, I just looked down and that's what it said. So there we go. Confirmation from spirit. And you are divinely assisted. You have assistance in this path. I believe the assistance and the protection you have is because you have broke a paradigm that has been within the family for generations, okay? You may have kind of been around people who always sought things externally, and you saw that and you took that on and you believed that that's how you would find your own emotional fulfillment, by going on kind of an external journey to seek out objects, people, places that offered this to you, okay? But it never really occurred to you because nobody around you had done it themselves before. So, you know, you had to kind of just intuitively realize this, which is incredible. You know, that's incredible. You realize that, you know, nobody had looked internally. And that is where you found your answer. That is where you found your peace. Okay. Let's get a couple of tarot cards and then I'm going to leave the reading there. couple of tarot cards for this collective, please. What do they need to know? What do they need to hear? The Hierophant. Yeah, we are a leader. This is somebody who, you know, offers people the key. They are in direct communion with the divine. You're somebody who's looked up to. You're somebody who embodies a lot of wisdom, somebody who people trust to lead the way. And this is why you are stepping into this role of the leader, okay? Because you're embodying authenticity. You know, you're putting yourself first and you're really getting to know yourself. And this is allowing you to really tap into that source energy and use that source energy to teach people that there is a different way, that you do not have to seek externally, and that the real transformation begins when you begin to seek internally, okay? Two of Wands. Yes, you have the world in your hands at this time. You are able to create whatever it is that you wish at this new phase that you have come to, okay? This gentleman remains within the confines of his castle. He is protected within his castle as he plans for the future, okay? You may have travel plans. You may be, excuse me. You may be planning to travel overseas, moving home, going somewhere new, or this could just be kind of a new internal adventure of getting to know yourself with this Hierophant card. We have the Tower in reverse. You're coming from a place of a string of tower moments, okay? And this is a personal transformation. You know, it's leaving behind one paradigm to foster a brand new paradigm, okay? And you're really seeing, well, you may not be seeing it, you know, changing externally just yet, but internally there has been a huge, significant change. You may just feel like an entirely different person. We have the Knight of Wands as well. This is a great card. This is all about passion, inspiration, creativity, forward movement, decisive action. So you have a plan, you have some kind of plan, you have some kind of idea, some kind of project that you're very passionate about. And again, this could just be the self-work that you're very passionate about. This new identity that you've fostered and created for yourself, okay? But you're somebody who is embodying a lot of passion and a lot of energy right now, fiery energy, okay? What else do we have here? Fire, yeah, 3 fire cards, 1 earth. So this is a spiritual awakening. This is a spiritual ascension. And I believe with this Hierophant card, you are being encouraged to ground this within the earthly realm so that you can use this knowledge that you have gained and this wisdom that you have gained through coming home to the self to direct others and lead others down the path that you have paved, back to unity, back to source, you know, back to spirit, back to the higher self, okay? Let's get a couple more and then I'm going to end it there. Anything else, please, for the collective? Yes. Okay. 3 of Pentacles, okay? This can speak of teamwork and collaboration, but it can also speak of being recognized for your skills. This young man is building this church, you know, and he's very skilled, and these 2 people look at him and you know, they're impressed with what he's been able to build, okay? And this is you as the Hierophant. You know, you are very talented, you are very skilled, you have something to share with this world that people will recognize you for, okay? And I do believe that it has to do with spiritual mentorship, spiritual leadership. We had the 8 of Cups as well, okay? This is about walking away. It's about walking away from your previous sources of fulfillment and moving towards the mountains, okay? The moon is here as well, so this is a very kind of uncertain card. You don't know what it is that you're going towards, but you know that you have to leave. So I believe that this is what you've done. You know, it was very scary, it was very uncertain, and that's why this endurance card has come up. Throat chakra there, okay? So yeah, you're speaking your truth now. You know, you're speaking of the pain, of the difficulty that has led you here and how that has brought you closer to the self, okay? And this is something that people need to know on their own spiritual journeys, on their own journeys towards the light.